the today when I sat down and asked for guidance as to what I was supposed to, like who wanted to come in as a gift for the meditation, what I got was the elementals wanted to come in. And so there are four of them. There's the earth, elementals of the earth. Those are the gnomes. And that's the collective name. And under the gnomes are the brownies, the elves, the fairies, the pixies, the green man, the mermaids, the, everything that exists in the fifth dimension. Absolutely everything. That has to do with honoring or taking care, protecting, renewing, restoring nature. Oh, I forgot. I've got to record. Oh, I am recording. Okay,
It is
didn't
recording.
realize it. So that was intriguing to me. And then the elementals of the air are the sylphs. And the elementals of the air are usually the ones that are the most ignored elemental, because unless there's a really giant wind blowing, you really don't pay much attention, or humans don't seem to pay much attention to gentle breezes, to soft whisperings, to, at times I could walk by a tree, a portion of its leaves were wavering, others weren't, and it wasn't a quaking aspen. So this was just the way of the sylphs to get my attention. And so kind of pay attention to that and always acknowledge them, because they're the ones who get the least amount of attention. And then the elementals of the water, the undines. And the undines, there is a place at the cottage that Bob's grandfather bought 75 years ago, and in Pennsylvania. It's on Lake Idlewild. It's a humble little cottage. It's been added on to, but our family just loves it because you can't wreck it. You can't ruin it. You can bring babies, you can bring animals, you can bring friends. Nothing will hurt it, because there's no precious things in the house. It's all cast-me-downs. It's all leftovers, but we all maintain it, so that the next person that comes in has a lovely, clean place to start with. But my favorite spot in the whole world is sitting on either in the screened porch and watching the lake from 2 o'clock, because on the lake, because of the way the angle of the sun comes in, on the lake is 1,000 points of light that come in through. And in my mind's eye, I see a little being attached to each point of light. So it doesn't matter if I'm on the dock, if I'm above the place on the ground, if I'm in the porch, I have a view of that lake. And the trees have gifted me by letting me see their aura. And a lot of times I will see magenta, I might see gold, I might see blue, the aura that's emanating from the trees. So it's such a special place for me. It's so magical. So I just would love for you to find a body of water that you can visit and take, just be, sit next to it with the intent of just seeing what the nature spirits present to you. Okay. And so those are the undines. And the last ones are the salamanders. They're the ones that come up from the licks of fire. And as I was doing the meditation, it was the salamanders who, because effectively when that lick of fire comes in, so many of them look just like a little salamander. You see their head, you see their feet, you see their tail, and their little appendages. So it's really, really exciting. Robin just came in. Good morning, Robin. So when I started to prepare for the meditation, I was surprised, but maybe as I continued to get, like the hint of what I was to say next and what I was to say next, then I wasn't surprised at all, but the salamanders, the elemental of fire, is what's going to be the guiding force for our meditation today. And fire obviously has been in the news in over the last couple of years a lot because of the forest fires that are raging out of control. And I was able to watch a PBS special where they showed that the native indigenous tribe to a part of Oregon and a part of California, and apparently they own just slivers of land in there. I was able, and somebody called Ray Shine just came in. Good morning, Ray. I was really astonished to see that they were given permission by the federal government on their own land to do controlled burns, to get rid of the underbrush. This is how the natives have controlled the fires raging out of control. I guess it's the underbrush that has such a flammable thing that's what catches fire first, and then it just spreads to the trees and destroys the forest. So really amazing. And the beauty is that other people were catching on, and other groups were coming in, and environmental groups were coming in to give a to get the lesson from this indigenous tribe. And when I Googled it, because I couldn't remember the name of the indigenous tribe, they said Kurak, K-U-R-A-K. So anyway, just thought an interesting bit of information that for some reason needed to be passed on to you today. So it could be that our winter seems to be hanging on for a long time, and the cool weather is still coming roaring back. So maybe some of you are still going to have fires in your fireplace, and you can actually have the benefit of looking at the salamanders, and as long as it's a real fire, if gas doesn't quite emulate it the same way. Okay, so very gently close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and exhale. Dear Mother, Father, God, Divine, Infinite Spirit, source of all that is, we thank you for this gathering. We thank you for the beings that have chosen to spend their next hour in meditation in honor of I Am. We thank you for the elementals that are going to be guiding us, especially the salamanders, the elementals of fire. And we thank you for the presence of the angels, archangels, ascended masters, Reiki masters, our ancestors, and all the beings of light that guide us, that choose to be with us, that choose to be our helpmates, and choose to be there for us, provided that you give them permission to contact you, to reach you. And now we go into our root, and we're going to start with the elemental of fire, and we're going to see what it is that our foundation, how our foundation aligns with the element of fire. And the two things that the salamanders came forth with was, first, what is your life purpose? What did you come here to do? In some cases, your life purpose might be nothing more than to bake the world's best brownie or the best cherry pie. Others are here to be healers. Others are here strictly to observe. The new souls do not really have much of a grasp of what a life's journey on earth is like. The older souls are the ones who take the biggest challenge. They're the ones who will accept a lifetime that is filled with strife, with sorrow, with pain, as a balance towards the lifetimes that they may have chosen for themselves earlier, where they ignored the strife and wanted nothing to do with it, where they may have had other people do all their work, where they may have chosen lives of luxury and ease and comfort. And now in this lifetime, they've chosen otherwise. So the element of fire just wants you to look at your foundation, what it is that you came here to do with your life, whether it's to influence one, or whether it's to influence many, or whether it's just to live the best life that you are seeking for yourself and those you love, and how you offer comfort to those you love. And do not forget that you offer comfort to yourself first. Because if you have people in your root chakra, in your foundation, who are toxic to you, you have to eliminate them. You have to step aside, no judgment, but step aside from allowing them to involve themselves in your life. And now we'll just take a few moments of quiet meditation, silent meditation. And now we very gently move into our second chakra. And we see the spark of light. We see the salamander, the elemental of fire, as the spark of life that exists in our second chakra. And the spark of life gives us 3 questions. What is it that you gravitate towards? What makes, when you do it, what makes your heart sing? And the last question, when you do this, does time, what is it that you do that makes time stand still for you? Those answers to those questions, which only you can supply, will lead you in the direction of where you are to take your gifts, the gifts that are unique to you, to no one else, just you. And now we will reflect on the sacral and just spend a few minutes meditating on that. And now we move into our third chakra, the solar plexus. This is where we know we're on the right path when we have a fire in our belly, when that's a spark that we know that we are doing what we came here to do. And the fire in your belly can lead you away from the career that you're in and towards something new, or as it diminishes about what it is that you're pursuing, it can guide you to a new path of existence. It can show you and lead you through your feelings into another place. It can also show you that if what you chose for yourself has 1,000 steps, but you've only completed 100 of them, and do not feel as if you wish to go on, that there may be another path for you. So pay attention to the fire in your belly. And now we move into the heart chakra. Within the heart chakra lives your connection to the divine through the threefold flame, the fleur de lis, that can be diminished, but can never be extinguished. It doesn't matter what tragic role you chose to play on this planet, what heinous acts you have taken upon yourself to be the instrument of. Your threefold flame connects you to the divine. This is the heart of God. And you know that you can reach God through your heart, through everything that you give your heart to. And you know that you have a lovely way of bringing your heart to your daily life, to everything, every time you show up, everything you choose to pay attention to. It can be related to something that is heartfelt. And every time you show up for someone, some being, something, some project, some promotion, some learning, some teaching, a piece of your heart grows with you. And now move into your throat, your fifth chakra, and look at your fifth chakra and see what it is that you feel passionate about. And are you holding back from what you feel passionate about? And examine the reasons. Are you afraid of criticism? Are you afraid of showing up a family member, a colleague, a spouse, a friend? And know that you can overcome any fear that may have plagued you by just expanding your throat and opening up to divine will. And now move into your sixth chakra, your third eye. And just as fire illuminates the darkness, ask that your third eye illuminate your mind and give you and show you another reason for what you may be witnessing around you or on this planet. Give you possibly the karmic reason for why a country has agreed to participate, be the protagonist or the victim of a war. There is always a reason. And we are asked as human beings not to stand in judgment of what we see unless we know the entire past history, present history, and future history of the person, place, or thing in question. Difficult for us to do, but yet necessary for our evolution as a species to move into our godlike structure, more of our God nature. So we ask that the element of fire illuminate any darkness that we are witnessing, whether it's on a personal, familial, or global scale. And we ask to be able to accept those reasons and accept what is given to us through the divine. As we move into a space of enlightenment, not only for ourselves, but for our planet. We are ascending our own vibrations as well as assisting in ascending the planet's vibrations. And we, in this process, are influencing the entire cosmos. And now we move into our crown chakra and we take this divine spark of light, but we see it as a geyser that moves from our root through our sacral, through our solar plexus, through our heart, through our throat, through our third eye, through our crown, and bursts out of our crown and showers us with light in every direction, 360 degrees around us. This is our toric field. We stand in the middle of our torus as the divine light segments itself and separates itself into 360 degrees, comes down our side, down, 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 turns inward towards us and comes up into our root and continues to repeat this magnificent flow of divine light. And we are continuing to be bathed in the spark of the torus. And we bring all that magnificent energy with us to everything we touch, every place we go, everybody we interact with. We instinctively, inherently know that we are much bigger than the limitations of our human body. And we thank the angels, the archangels, the ascended masters, the Reiki masters, the ancestors, and all the spiritual beings of light, including the elementals, but most especially the salamanders, who were the guiding force of this meditation. We honor the light of the salamander, and we recognize that we too are a spark of divine light. It is light that we came from and light that we return to. that is who we are. We honor the great I am. Amen. Namaste. Okay. Wow. Thank you. Well, that was wonderful. Thank you. And Ray, I'm going to start with you. I loved the flow of what you were doing. So anyway, let's have some feedback from you. Unmute yourself. We can't hear you.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
It was wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I just was imagining it and just felt it flowing through me, and really was, concentrating in areas that I know I needed it. And it was beautiful. I feel much lighter and at peace. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, I just with every chakra, I kept thinking I should go like this, but then when it came to the Taurus, absolutely I had to go like that. So, but I watched you a few moments and that was great. All right, Melvin. Thank you.
Oh, good morning. I just went for the ride and enjoyed it. And as you begin to move through chakras, I stayed in the previous one sometime because it was something that you said in that chakra that resonated me. And then I would come back to presence and catch up. And I just trusted. That's the best I can give today, but it was great.
Yeah, thank you. No,
Yeah.
that's perfect. You get out of this what you need, and you
Yes.
do what you want. So
Yes.
all right, thank you. Barb? She's not getting my attention. Shar, how about you?
And thank you, Alice. That was wonderful. I really enjoyed the progression of the process. Obviously, it's the flow that we're used to, but I really enjoyed the activation of the one element through all the chakras and seeing the perspective of that element in each of the chakras. I'm not sure if I'm articulating that correctly, but it just tied in a lot of things for me that I've been struggling with. And, just to your point a moment ago, we get out of things, we're drawn to things that we need. And clearly I needed this,
Right.
it's things aligned for me to be able to attend this morning. And I was just absolutely delighted. And so thank you. This is very, very helpful and beneficial. Sounds so whatever, but it was all that. So thank you.
Yeah. And I thought of you yesterday and I kept thinking, I haven't talked to you in a long time. So it's like time to catch up. Yeah. So I wasn't,
thank you.
I wasn't that surprised when I saw you on the screen. So thank you.
I also, salamander energy, salamander has come to me several times over the years. And one time in particular, it was very meaningful. So thank you for reviving those memories.
Super. Great. Robin. Thank you.
Well, it was always a pleasure to be here and see you in the group and have this practice and time together. I like it was a little bit of a different change of pace today. I really like this idea about thinking about our life purpose and recognizing that it might not be some earth-shattering thing. It might just be something very simple. And I've always kind of struggled with what is it, and maybe trying to find it externally when really it's to be found internally. And it was lovely to have those prompt reminders of how clearly your body does let you know these things when you tune in and allow it to take you where you need to go. So
super. Thank you. That's because again, as I do the meditation, I just pay attention to what's coming in, and I write it down. And then just go on to the next. So I'm very grateful that made an impact. So thank you. Andrea.
Yes, thank you, Alice. I love the way you did the meditation and you gave us time to reflect. And I almost didn't. I started late today. I overslept. I almost didn't come in. I'm so glad I did. I always get what I need. And I was going to ask you, can you elaborate just a little briefly, a little bit on salamander energy, more about what that is? I missed that part.
Okay. If the it's the elemental of fire. And the reason it's called salamander is because if you're looking at like a bonfire outside, as you look at the licks of flame at the tips, they actually look like a salamander. You know, you'll see the head, you'll see the feet, you'll see the body, and you see the undulation. So that's why they call it salamander. And at first when I was told I'm going to be working with the elementals, I thought, well, that's a lot of energy to work. I mean, how do I do that? And the fact that the one decided to kind of be the guiding force for every chakra, that makes so much more sense to me.
Yes.
Yeah. And think about the fact that the salamander, the fire energy, mostly is looked upon as destructive. It's not, because whatever it burns, it lays a layer of potassium, which is basically fertilizer, but natural fertilizer for the ground underneath,
It
So
really hit home for me. It really resonated. It was beautiful. Thank you, Alice. Thank
yeah,
you so much.
thank you. Well, I'm glad you always
I'm
make it.
I'm glad I came. I'm glad I came.
Right. It never bothers me if somebody's late, because I always keep my eyes open for that. Liz, good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, Alice. Thank you, everyone. I think I was also meant to be here this morning. All these messages were just resonated and were spot on. And I guess I must have been ready for the elementals because my tea mug has a mermaid on it. So I was ready.
Great.
And then it was interesting. You had mentioned at one point fleur-de-lis, and I was thinking about that in the salamander, and it clicked that on a trip to France, there's a French king, Francois, who is the salamander king. And I had this image that came to mind of his crown with the salamander woven in it. And that was right when you said to move the energy of the crown, and there was this big burst of light. So it was a really powerful imagery and messages for me today. So thank you.
Wonderful. Wow. And we, in our trip to Florence, I didn't know, but they used the fleur-de-lis as the symbol of Florence. I didn't know that, and even though I've been to Florence twice before, I forgot that, it didn't make an impact. This time it did, because I brought home a magnet with the fleur-de-lis on it as a reminder. But thank you for that bit of info. And Corinne.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. It was very, very beautiful. Actually, when we started, I actually have a womb pain, very strong. But then when we started, it went away.
Oh, what did you have very strong?
Womb pain.
Womb. Oh,
Yes,
interesting.
womb and back pain. And then when
Wow.
we just started going through the meditation with the root,
Yeah.
it just went away. And then
Good.
it was like kind of like a fire. It was like actually burning my back, but like very gently, but really, really hot.
Wow.
That was beautiful. Each chakra that I went, it was really kind of hot, like really hot, like burning.
Super.
And that was really good. And then when you said like bursting,
Yeah.
so I felt like bursting flowers.
Wow.
Like rose petal flowers like coming out. That was very beautiful. And yes, this is what I much needed too. Like
Well,
just
I'm
limiting everything.
yeah, that's great that you got a healing from that.
Yes, thank you so much.
I'm so appreciative when that happens. Let's see, Ashley is on the side, and Julie, I think, are the two that we need to hear from. Ashley?
Thanks, Alice. Yes, I found this, first of all, I just appreciated learning more about salamander energy and the fire elemental. I didn't know very much about that. But also I think that it's useful every so often to like sort of check in on issues or things around purpose and like what drives you, because I think that's something that is kind of can fall to the background after a while. And I found that this meditation sort of surfaced important questions that I had been asking, but kind of maybe like not very consciously. So questions around like purpose and what drives me, like what motivates. These sorts of questions I think are were important for me to sort of focus my energy again, and also for just for clarity, you know, reaffirmation, you know, these are the things that I care more about. These are the things that I would focus more on, but like what's stopping me, I guess, from pursuing them more directly. So I found that it brought clarity and brought to center some important questions that I was asking. So I appreciate
Excellent.
it. Thank you.
Excellent. And you can continue meditating with the elementals and just see if you get a different perspective from the different ones, you know, and everything, because I'm sure the others will come in, but I never know because I only get it the day of, you know, that I do it. But thank you for that. Lots of insight there. So, and I think the last one is Julie.
Hi, good morning, Alice. Hi, everyone. I wanted to thank you. It was truly wonderful. It was interesting because I think, you know, I've always had a little bit of not fear, I guess, but you know, I never embraced the fire element.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of, you know, you're afraid of it. And it was interesting because I could really feel the power of it and also the cleansing of it, which I thought was really interesting. I think, you know, it kind of took away and like Corinne and Ashley have said, and everyone else, it kind of gave clarity. It kind of stripped away some of the struggle and some of the concerns that were like disparities, and kind of brought them all together. I don't know if I'm saying that right. When you went from the root all the way up, it kind of brought everything together, and it was kind of purifying. So I really thank you. It kind of crystallized things. You know, fire can sterilize something and purify it. So that's kind of what I took away from it. So thank you.
Wonderful. Again, another perspective, which is lovely. All
And
right.
one other thing, Alice, the fleur-de-lis. Do you mind if I ask?
Yeah.
I have always had a huge affinity, but I really didn't know. Is that considered a spiritual symbol? Like
Totally.
and what is
Totally.
it? Can you speak on that? Like, what does that
The threefold
mean?
flame. Because effectively, the way that I see it, even when I said the words, you can diminish it, but you can't extinguish it. It
Okay.
lives in your heart as a threefold flame, and it looks just like the fleur-de-lis. And so effectively, in those, like a Stalin, like a Hitler, like a Putin, those who have taken on these really heavy roles, their fleur-de-lis might be minuscule, but they cannot get rid of it. Their connection to the divine is guaranteed. It's always there. So that's why working and this meditation kind of taught me a little bit more to include the salamander in my meditations. I never do. I never work with the element of fire. So this really, this was kind of novel for me. and
Mhm.
I was also, I don't know who mentioned it, it might have been Corinne, that like moving it into every chakra, it had a special meaning, it had a special significance. And in her case, she felt the heat, and that was beautiful. But yeah, the fleur de lis is, and obviously the kings of France, I thought that the fleur de lis was limited to French kings. But then when I go to Florence and I find out that's their symbol, I thought, wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that, it's their symbol. But
Wow.
anyway,
So it's a symbol and a crest, kind
yeah,
of.
yeah,
And it's the
exactly.
flames. It's the flames of fire then.
Yeah, it's the
Okay.
some
Wow.
people think it's a
Thank you.
lily. It can be too, but no, it's the threefold flame. Whenever I see the threefold flame, I see it in the shape of a fleur de lis.
Ah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you. And Melvin, I just need to talk to Melvin for just a second. So, and I thank you so much for your feedback. I so am appreciative of the feedback, and because I know people do have to go. I try to limit it to 11. It's 11:05, but it's the thing is we all learn from each other in the feedback session. So, and feedback is not meant to, I know myself, if somebody didn't call on me in a class, I wouldn't answer. I just wouldn't. So that's why I call on each one of you, because I feel everybody has something valuable to share and everything. But that's my reason, my excuse, my whatever. So, everybody have a wonderful week, and
Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
yeah,
Happy-
thank
Thank
you.
Thank
you.
you. Have-
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Alice.
much. Thank you, Alice.
And
Bye-bye.
Melvin will be leading next Mother's Day. So Melvin will be here for that, which I'm tremendously appreciative of, because
Thank you.
I will be on the road and everything. So
Have a wonderful Mother's Day, Alice.
thank you.
Everyone, I will see you.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye
Happy
bye
Mother's
now.
God bless.